Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Hi, Grumpy. How are you doing? For the first that gif is crazy. Oh, welcome, welcome. How are you guys? We're back with stream. The one stream pause. So how you doing, Grumpy? By the way, we're gonna like eat breakfast together because I was able like to prepare it at least beforehand. And then when I was sitting here and had like the 5-minute time, I was like, oh, this is perfect. Like, I'm just gonna eat my breakfast. Like, then the timer is gone, like, everything's fine. And then I looked into the camera and noticed, like, I didn't put any makeup on. So I put like the bare minimum on, but still sort of subtracted from my 5 minutes. Did you say we're back with cream? No, I said cream. But so this is just bread with butter, like melted butter and salt. You know. Hi, Ellie. How are you doing? Welcome, welcome. I'm glad you guys are here. I don't need to sit alone. Very thankful. Butter without Nutella. mm. So, I think I'm pretty fine. Like, I think I'm pretty good. I think the sort of like this realization that my therapy is like over is like I don't know, it's like fine. I don't know, like thankfully, like I guess what really comes in clutch here is that I don't have much like people always like phrase that with like object permanence. So but what I mean is essentially like once I don't see a person anymore, I low-key forget about them because I have like so many things to do in my life. So it's just like, you know, like if you want to take part in my life, I'm like that's amazing. That's awesome. I love it. And definitely you're gonna be included in like everything, right? But like once you decide you don't want to take part in my life anymore, it's like it's not like I have the time to cry after you a lot. Like I just like with all the hobbies and ideas I have, like the creative stuff I do, it's just really like, oh right, right. It was the last day of therapy last week. True, 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 true. That happened. And then I like, yeah, I'm not really bothered by it because I just don't. I just yeah, you know what I mean? Like it's just like I don't see you anymore. Like there's nothing really reminding me. uh yeah, exactly. Like it's not I don't know. I get I don't I don't know. I guess like I don't know. I always feel like mean when I say this because I feel like there's sort of an expectation that you're like gonna miss people like so bad. And I just sort of like don't. But on the other hand, I do miss some people. Like for example, my sisters, I do miss them. Like I would love to spend more time with them. But it's not like I'm gonna like cry without them, you know what I mean? Like it's missing without like desperation, if that makes sense. Ooh, Marxy Kerbory. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for the follow. And hi Chu, by the way. Welcome to the stream. How you doing? Welcome, welcome. Also in chat. That's a very normal German thing too. Like, is that so? Like, have you guys never eaten like just like bread with like melted, like you know, like toasted bread, and then you put the butter on and it melts, and then you just put like salt on it? It's good. I don't know. Hi, Talon. Welcome, welcome. So yeah, I don't know. For example, like yeah, also Zach, if I'm like with my family, like I'm definitely like gonna miss him because it's just like when I have people who've sort of been in my routine, then I'm gonna miss them for sure. What is cinnamon butter? Oh, like can you buy that somewhere? Is it just butter with cinnamon? What if one of your sisters stick in your stream with a random user, sneak in, just enjoy the vibes? I mean, I would love to think that, but I don't think so. Like, I don't think like they hate to stream or anything, like no, but it's just like they are also like me. Like they have too many hobbies to find the time for, really. Mm, also school. Like I don't think they're even home yet. So, but yeah, I wouldn't expect them to do that. Mm. So I feel like that would be a thing too, which like Zach would really love. So how does it like specifically work? Like you just like you get a piece of bread, you put butter on it. Like does the butter like melt? Like do you toast a piece of bread beforehand or do you don't? And like how much butter do you put on there? Like is there sort of like a minimum amount which is necessary to make this like taste nice? And then you just put like the cinnamon. Do you also like do you put cinnamon sugar or like literally only cinnamon? Mm. So to my first sister, I guess you could say. It's 5 years, and to the second one, it's 8. Mm. It's like the sisters are like, right, you don't know my family situation. Mm. They are my like half sisters, if you were to say it like that. Like they're from my mom, but not from my dad. So it's like my mom got pregnant with like not my dad, but like with me and my dad. Not with no, that's also wrong. From my dad with me. Um, and then like there was like a whole situation. They divorced at some point finally. Thank you. And then she got together with uh my stepdad, and then they got like 2 more kids. Yeah, was a right little comparison. Cinnamon sprinkles. So it's definitely like it's not just like it's not even just sugar and cinnamon. It's like sprinkles. Like it's the mhm mhm yeah. They're technically my half sisters. Yeah, but never really mattered. The only thing where it mattered, and I'm really thankful for that actually, that they didn't have to have contact with my dad. Mm. Anybody thought about this book or heard about this book before? Or experienced it's mirrored. It's Breaking Negative Thinking Patterns. That's the title. Salty Nutella, that's crazy. I can't imagine that tasting, to be honest. Mm. I feel like the cinnamon butter toast can be like, since it's like cinnamon sprinkles, can be really good. Because it's like the same, it works the same like butter Nutella toast essentially. Like it's something like, it's like fatty plus like something like sweet. Just instead of like chocolate taste, it's like the cinnamon taste. So I think what if you like cinnamon, then it can be like really good. That's fair. Mm. Have you ever heard or experienced schema therapy? Because that's what the book is essentially based on, or what it's explaining. But it's a very common like therapy. Well, how would you say that? Framework? Be careful, mate, with the trying the Vegemite or what? The book is called Breaking Negative Thinking Patterns. I posted it also in the Discord. So if you want to see like a non-mirrored image of it, I also like showed some of the pages there. Because it's like a self-help book, so it actually has like sort of like working sheets and stuff. But this was like recommended to me by my therapist. And for it having like only like being this thick, like it has literally like how many? I think like 200 or something. Oh, not even. Yeah, this is the last one. So it's like 147 pages. Um, and in the beginning, it sort of it explains like child modes. Well, in the introduction, it actually explains like what schema therapy sort of is. And schema therapy is essentially that you like try to like it's based in the belief, I guess you can say, that like most of the things you struggle with like in adulthood are sort of like based on like whatever happened in your childhood. So the way they work is like they really try to like understand your patterns and then link it to like child modes or dysfunctional parent modes. And then you like once you sort of recognize these like different modes you have, you could also like some of them you can literally like will know like okay, like when people say like survival mode, like this is technically like the, I don't know, for example, the angry child mode. Um and then like once you sort of like understood these like modes and these different patterns you have, you can change them. I'm not yet like finished with the book, as you can see. So I'm only at the point where like they sort of like finished the child modes and now we're like getting into the dysfunctional parent modes. The next would be like the coping modes, because there's different ways how one can cope, right? Like some are more successful than others. And then there's the healthy adult mode, which technically should be our default, but well, you know, depending on your childhood, it isn't. And then it goes into essentially like changing your modes and like gaining control over like the angry or impulsive child mode and like healing the vulnerable child mode and like stuff like this. Or like changing coping mechanisms. And yeah, so it literally like it explains you the whole thing. It helps you to like see, like understand how that works for you, and then instantly goes into and now what we can do. So I don't know, like I think so far this book has been like really great in terms of how clear cut it is. Like it's very direct. It just like gets to the point straight away. There's no like sort of like, this is not one of those books where like a psychologist wrote a book which is like them like rambling about the topic, and like technically it's like informational, but at the same time it's definitely sort of like a book in the sense there that like you follow the thought process of the psychologist. You don't get like this PowerPoint situation of like, here, this is how you understand this and that's what we're gonna do. And this book here is like more into the direction of like, hey, this is how we understand this is what we're gonna do next, and like this how you're gonna like can like use this and stuff. And there's always like, okay, so this is how it works, and here's some examples so you can like better understand it, and like then like some more information, and like here is now like a table where you can like answer these questions and like put your results in and stuff like this. um So yeah, honestly, like I regret a little bit that I didn't like just like straight away read it once I got it like recommended from my therapist, but I'm only like reading it now essentially. Because I think this would have been like really nice maybe to like talk over with another person as well. Yeah, I thought in the Discord, like you can literally see, like I thought this was actually like a free book for a second. Which like an open license book which we can just like read with stream. That would have been really really amazing. Because I just, yeah, I just found it online essentially. Like the sort of like the Google reading thing was like 26 pages, so like a good amount of the book. And there were like I don't know, like so many like PDF links, and like some of them were like only like reading uh sort of like trials. But yeah, it sort of like made me believe that it would be like open, like sort of like a public license, but it's not. So I sadly can't read it with you guys. Um, but you can essentially like read it alongside me and then just like ask me any questions you might be interested in. Um, but I think the hi Esther, how you doing? Welcome. But yeah, it's really, really cool, I think. And it's written by three psychologists, essentially, like a clinical psychologist and schema therapist, a clinical psychologist, supervisor of the Dutch Association for Behavioral and Cognitive Therapy, chair of the Dutch Schema Therapy Association, and a psychologist, a psychotherapist, and schema therapist in the Department of Clinical Psychology and Psychotherapy. So it's been written by like three very, very competent people. And that's what I really like about this. How's life on the other side of the country? What do you mean on the other side of the country? Do we live so far away? I thought, no, true. You live like at the in the top part, right? But yeah, life is good. We have a lot of sun right now, so that's why I have like all the sort of like the curtains, not curtains, but I don't know. Dang, we could have read it on stream. Well, I mean, we could have, but then we like would have been like, is it? Yeah, like we didn't really could, you know what I mean? But yeah, it would have been really really cool. Like when I thought like it would be public license, like I was really like, oh, this is fate. Like I was looking for a book we could read with stream, and like this is so good. But yeah, well, it's also like it's not that like for any like I also understand why they earn some money with it. It's a really good book. I'm not okay, but it's okay. It's fine to have a bad day. Okay, care of you. That's true. You're at the coast in the west. Ah, so yeah, yeah. The second city in the Netherlands. What do you mean the second city? I don't know what you mean. I've been listening to enough. Grumpy. I mean, obviously not. Even if it wouldn't be an erotic audiobook, it's not reading. But you also don't technically need to read it, but looking into the schema therapy things like really um I think it's like essentially like I just like actually recently found out that the therapy which I was talking about, right? So I was talking about this like how's it called? Like imaginary rescripting. Like that is apparently a very common like a sort of like a schema therapy type therapy. And that one helped me like the most, right? So I really, really, I don't know, like now that I know that, it's like, oh damn, like schema therapy might be like really good actually. For science. It's in a weird mood, even mentally struggling. It's fine, Asta. Is there anything we can do to help you? I'm here to distract myself from the thoughts I have. I see. Mm. Is there anybody who has a topic they want to speak about? Hi, Granddad Gamer. Welcome, welcome. It's very kind of you. Oh, imagine we would literally have like one of those like we would just like live close to each other. Like imagine we could like digitally sort of like move to the screen and then just be like, here's a cinnamon sprinkle toast. I want to build a house with a basement to make a D&D tavern. Oh my god, I say yeah. Same, same. That would be so sick. Oh, oh yeah. Seriously, seriously. Like I already thought, like I had a talk actually about this with Zach, and not only one. Like we have multiple talks about this, like D&D tavern type style. Like we literally, like I was sort of considering if there's any possibility I can make this room into like a D&D tavern, which could be used to like D&D streams. But it's hard, because this room is like really, um, well, it's not very like big, right? It's like I don't know, like 3 by 3 meters or something. Yeah, it's not big. Um, but I literally thought like if we ever get the possibility to get like a bigger house, I would essentially make like a D&D room which is like really professional and stuff like this. And then have like a sort of like a tiny Airbnb or something connected to it. So that people can literally like book the D&D room with the Airbnb, just like them and their friends, right? And then like just all go there, have like a mini kitchen, you know? It's like really sort of like focused on the like eat, sleep, and then play D&D the entire day with your friends. I think that would be so sick. I feel like that would be so cool. And just have that to be like, I don't know, like, you know, it doesn't need to be expensive and stuff like this. Just that, like, it's like a real option for just normal people. Like, that would be so sick. Yeah. And hi, Yukuna. Welcome, by the way. Welcome to the stream. Uh, that's a cool bookcase in the background. Oh, thank you. Like, we actually, well, we built that ourselves. It's not finished, as you can see, but it's getting there. We're sort of like finishing it like step by step. Like every time we're like, oh, we actually need another shelf, and like we put a new shelf in. Until then we just leave this weird space. It might just be me, but if someone is going through mental anguish, toast with cinnamon sprinkle doesn't cut it, or is it just me? I think it's really not about the cinnamon toast, right? But it's really more about the, hey, I see you. I just want to help you in a way I can. And some days are just shit and you can't really do anything from outside, right? But you can show that you're here and you want to support the person. Well, any way you can, even though it might just do like a 1% change. Yeah, oh my god, like the D&D tavern things, Asta, like that has been in my mind for ages further. Like literally, like I would like if I could, seriously, I genuinely thought about, is there like I was on one of those websites where you can like buy houses. Um and I saw a essentially like a business building in bumfuck nowhere in France. And it cost like 500K or something, or 600 maybe. And it had like eight stories. And I thought like, is there like I seriously tried to find a way how I can possibly afford this. And I was like, okay, like how many people we need to sort of like get into the boat to like buy this with? And like, do we know any people would get in the boat and buy this with? Like, it turns out it's like, now I don't know people would get into this because this is like just really like my personal thing. But I thought it would be so sick if like anybody gets like one story, you know, and then like in it's just like five or so, and then like the lowest three or like the highest and the lowest three is like free still, and then you can like put a gym in there, you can put like a proper cosplay workshop in there, You can put like a D&D tavern in there. You can put like Lord, if you want, you could put a tennis court in there, you know? Like, really does matter. But just like have this thing of like, you have this like big ass house, everybody has their own story, like it's all people know each other. Then you have like sort of like community rooms where it's like, hey, let's just eat dinner together, like all of us. And then you could like make the lower part sort of like a community center where it's just like there's a gym in there and it's like essentially like whoever like you pay as much as you want to. If there's anything which needs to be paid, you essentially put like a donation goal and say like, hey, this is what we're saving for, like a new machine for whatever, and like put into the box whatever you want to like help with, right? And sort of morph this approach, and I think it would be so sick. But yeah, you got good news, Aguna? What have good news? Hi, Billy, welcome. Hi, Mirandex, welcome to the stream. Your last stream I was kind of depressive because me and my girlfriend broke up. During the week, something happened. Can't understand why. Just looked like I have more motivation and started to be positive with all in general. Obviously, it's still hurting. I need to scroll up about all, but I think your opinion and the chat opinions just helped. Thank you all. I'm so glad, Miran. Thanks. I'm glad you're doing better. Breakups can be really hard, right? But I'm glad you reached out, you know, and you didn't decide to just suffer alone, but to ask for support. And I hope you give yourself credit for that as well. Because I feel like we can sometimes forget that we are the people setting ourselves up for success or for failure. And the moment you decided to reach out for help in this stream, or even look for such a stream, even click on this stream, was a moment where you decided you're going to set yourself up for success instead of failure. By the way, like, is it because, so, different part. I made a new Discord channel where I want to put, like, I've seen this from, like, another streamer, from Jim, where I want to put, like, how's the word called again? Wait. Testimonials. So that, like, new people to the community can sort of get a picture of what they can, like, I guess, expect, if they can trust us or not. And I think your messages sound like really, like, so sweet. And I was wondering if I can just like make a screenshot of this and send it into that channel as a sort of like, hey, you know, like this is why people decide to share in our community, and this is why you should trust us and share as well. We have the same idea. Asta, you and me, bro. We're gonna buy that like building in France. And hi, Fluffy. Welcome, welcome. How you doing? I think the key part is to listen. I think that's a really important part. But at the same time, I feel like there's some situations where you need to be seen, and there's some situations when you need help. Because you thought about it so often, right? And you didn't get to a solution. You're stuck and you don't know where to go and how to handle this. I mean, after all, we're all doing this for the first time, right? Like we're all, or well, I at least think so. Like under the premise that we're all doing this for the first time here. We all are like, I'm for the first time 25, and like next week I'm gonna be for the first time 26. A year later I'm gonna be for the first time 27. Like, if you start university, you're for the first time a student in university. If you get a kid, you're for the first time a parent. It's like there are so many things we do for the first time on a daily basis. And just with the world, how the world is progressing as well, right? It's like there's things people can help us with because they've been a student too and stuff like this, but times change as well. Like we all live through this specific day for the first time. And I think that's something we need to take into consideration to give ourselves grace. Like, how to live life and have a good life and how to like figure all of this out is a tough decision and a tough situation, right? Like it takes a lot of knowledge, and a lot of the knowledge we don't even have, and nobody does. So I think it's a thing where it's very natural to sometimes be stuck and don't have answers. And it's also a thing where a person can give us advice, but we always need to make that advice our own. Because after all, this situation, like any situation, is entirely unique. There might be, like, the same thing might help as a solution, but the situation is unique. Police officers in my area are getting trained to be mental health officers. A law amendment I wrote out with acknowledged will be on the agenda for the Governor's Committee for People with Disabilities for April to fine-tune it and present it to change the Texas state code. And I'll be on advisory committee for my local mental health authority. That's really insane. That's a huge W right there. I think that police officers in your area getting trained to be mental health officers is huge and could be like an entire game changer. And that there's a law amendment, like that it was acknowledged and that it's like, you know, it's going to be on the agenda is really, really huge. I'm so happy to hear this. You should honestly like post this in the good news channel. This is such good news. This is really like, this is inspiringly good news. And I hope you know that. Like, this is something I will hold on to in my heart to be like, change is possible. And like, I believe in humanity type good news. Like, this is amazing. Thank you so much for your work and effort you put into this. What's in your head of being rude? Aw. Is there anything you can... I mean, depending on what they say, maybe there is sort of like evidence you can find to offset what they're saying. Like, I feel like I know like the situation for you is like harder, but sometimes when I have like a sort of like I'm struggling with negative self-image, and one could argue I have like negative voices in my head. It really helps me to like I told you guys like last time, right? Like that I have this journal because I struggle sometimes with like feeling like stuck or lazy. And then I look into this journal and see what I have done the entire week. And then I know like actually like this is bullshit. I did so much. And I'm not lazy at all. Like maybe there's something like this you can do for yourself. But I know that it really depends on like what the topic is. Corrupted, let's go! And Fluffy with the 25 stream streak. I think Fluffy's number one, by the way, to anybody with like the stream streak. 25 is crazy. Thank you so much for being here, Fluffy. And Corrupted you as well. It's been a hard fight and still going. I bet, Uguna. I bet. But I'm glad you still put that effort in. I think, you know, like after all, like the world in a way is only going to be as good as we shape it, right? So you're doing a lot right now for our future, for a better future. I'm really glad about that. The wisest know I have already have a self-esteem. They prey on that, making me lose the last train of hope I have. Situations like these are really hard. Because on one side you can always argue like, oh yeah, don't listen to the voices, but it's hard. Mm. I wonder if it might be like if it might help you to share some of the things the voices say. But that entirely depends on you. Only if you want to, and if you think that would help. And like then we could give our opinion to it. When voices say like, oh, you're stupid, like then we can say like no. As that's been a very very good part of our community. Mm, I see. There's some like really weird noise outside. I think some like military test or something. Um. Anyways. Like the whole like because I don't know why. And this is really throwing me off, but sometimes they do like military like tests here and they fly super low. And because I live in like a high building, I'm like very close to them then, right? And the entire air essentially is like making like weird stuff all of a sudden. Anybody wanna share some like kind words with Asta about like how they got to know them? I'm gonna go first. Um, I'm really glad you joined our community, Asta. Like you joined, like you're one of the like first, I think, like new people who essentially like joined this, and you are here, like I think, like honestly, like every stream, and you're like a really like I know that you maybe like don't think that of yourself, like, but I'm just gonna share like my sort of like view here. To me, you're a really stable and safe person. Not in a way of like your mental health, maybe, but in a way that I can trust you. That whenever you show up in chat, you're gonna be kind and you're gonna be polite and you're gonna share your opinion, but you won't overstep boundaries. It's a thing where I don't need to worry that I need to moderate you in any case. You know, like you're socially adapted to the point where I know that you're gonna like step away if something upsets you. And there's like I don't there's like you know, like I can leave you alone in chat, like no worries whatsoever. And I know that you're supportive and that you would help other people in our community if you can. I know that you would help me if you could. Like if there were ever anything to come up like that. Um, I know that whenever you talk about something, you take into account that you make trigger warnings clear if there are any. And I think that's something where you know it's like small things, but in a way it makes you a really safe person. Um, and I think that's I don't know, like I really like you having in chat. it's really pleasant. You take part in the conversations, you share your opinion, but you're always respectful. But, you know, I think even if it's only for yourself, I definitely do see the effort you put into that. But I also appreciate it because the things we talk about here are very vulnerable, right? So I think it's something where it helps talking about vulnerable things because it makes the whole conversation safer, right? So I'm really glad that you're here. And I hope you know that you're a really positive part of our community, you know? And yeah, like Ellie is also saying, like, you're also, you're seen in a very positive light. Like, yes, sometimes you step out because you're like super angry or super pissed off because some person who's about to get banned in 5 minutes is saying bullshit. But that's like entirely fine. And I don't know, like sometimes you share how you don't have many friends, you don't trust people. At the same time, you then share stuff with us where we feel really glad that apparently you trust us enough to share these kind of things. You know? So, yeah. I'm really glad you're part of this community. And you've also shared a lot of knowledge with us about how it is to live with bipolar, for example, how it is to live with schizophrenia, and yeah, these voices in your head. And even though that's for sure a thing where like I hope we could do something, right? It's a thing where I'm really glad to get that insight. And I hope that I'm going to be able to use that insight to be a better mental health advocate than before. And to always learn like every day. So, yeah, even though I can't do anything about these voices, I really hope that you know that we're on your side. We don't agree with these voices. The people you know here and the way you are in this community doesn't, it's ridiculous that we would ever support any of these voices. Because we know you from a totally different side. And to us, you're a really kind person where this world can be grateful for, you know. So just, I think, use that, you know, to believe in yourself and not believe these voices, because we believe in you. Mm. I mean, I think that's also something I do. I think that's something really normal to do, right? Like you treat people like really nice, and like if they ever like prove to you that they're gonna abuse that, like then you change. But you just give everybody a chance, and I think that's really strong, you know. I think sometimes life can come at us in a way where we really don't want to give it another chance, and we really want to just take that. No. Sorry, the vacuum robot. And sometimes we really want to believe like the easy explanation that, oh, like people you just can't trust ever. Because that's like a very easy rule, right? But I think like putting ourselves out there, like even though we have been like our trust has been broken, and or you know, and our vulnerability has been abused maybe by others, it's like putting ourselves out there and giving it another shot after it didn't work is standing up again after you've been put down, right? So not been wait, that's putting down in English means like being like sort of like what you do with an ill dog, right? Um that's not what I mean. Like after you've been brought to your knee? I don't know. You guys know what I mean. The whole epicness of that statement completely gone. I mean, are you interested in mental health talks, okay, or no? And high tainted wisdom, welcome, welcome. I have all reasons not to trust anyone, but it would make me feel so alone and miserable. Yeah. I think honestly, it's really great that you give yourself another chance at life and like putting yourself out there and like wait for that moment where you won't be disappointed and look for that, right? Because that's hope. One thing I've learned in a book is let them focus on yourself. The best thing you can do. Could do. What do you mean let them focus on yourself? Is it more like focus on yourself like, oh, it's probably like let them like and then focus on yourself, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. Nah, it's fine. It's like the comma would have been really useful there, but it's fine. But yeah. I think sometimes like not caring those are really hard, right? And I don't think it makes like it's bad to care, right? Um so I feel like that's why sometimes we like really also need to choose ourselves in a way where we choose the social groups we take part in. For example, these like this whole thing of like, yeah, let them like focus on yourself. Like this works if that also means that you don't like entertain them, right? Like essentially the thing this is sort of based on like don't entertain these voices and these like negative conversations. But a focus on what you can do for yourself and what you want to do for yourself in that moment instead. Where like if we let people talk, but we entertain them by giving them our time. For example, if it's like if they're like bad friends, but we still spend time with them. Or if it's like, I don't know, like colleagues we really don't like, but we wouldn't need to sit next to them in the cafeteria, you know? Like we could take distance, but we don't. Or if it's maybe like certain family parts where we're just sort of like scared to make a cut and therefore like entertain them the entire time. Like that's something where if you interpret let them with I'm gonna let them walk all over me without there being any consequences, that's not the right idea. Because what is in your sort of in your system is gonna influence you at some point. And we can't help but have like some people talk about us, right? But it would like it's the difference between if there's a person bullying me in my chat, like the difference is I'm gonna ban them, but not worry about what they said. Like I sort of like I let it go, and I like, but I banned them. Like I'm also not You know, like I'm not like entertaining them or like letting them talk like this, but not banning them. Like this is a very, very important difference. And I feel like sometimes that difference is not as clear to us, because when I say this as an example with chat, right, it's like super obvious and like entirely makes sense. And everybody's like, yeah, duh. But the thing is, when you make this with, for example, if a family member is like this, and then banning them is gonna cause a little bit of like a social situation, maybe. If it's one of the friends in your friend group, it's gonna cause a little bit of a situation. If it's a coworker, it's gonna cause a little bit of a situation, maybe. Like there's a bunch of situations where banning somebody is not as easy as like banning them out of a chat. And even banning them out of a chat can cause a little bit of a situation. Like I had other people then complain why those people have been banned, and then I found out, it's their second account, right? But you don't know that beforehand. Like literally somebody I ban here could talk shit about me in other streams, right? And could complain about like, oh, how unfair I am and stuff like this. Somebody I ban here could go on my Discord and then like, I don't know, like troll or do whatever, like shitty stuff on my Discord as well. Like there is more ways, and it could cause a little bit of a situation. But I still have to do it. It's still the right decision. And I think that's sort of the thing we should definitely take away from this. But yeah, with like us, the situation is really shitty because he can't really ban the voices out of his head. So that's the... Yeah. Would be nice. Yeah, I wished. I would wish for you too. Greetings from the Netherlands. Oh, yeah, greetings back to you. I live close to Utrecht, by the way. So I'm also here. Yeah. Where's the... To me, it sounds like you just tagged the Granddad Gamer out of nowhere. Like, I don't have any message from them. Like, is there a message from them? Like, should I have a message I don't have? I'm so confused. Navandro, thank you so much for your sub. Thank you for 2 months. I appreciate it. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing? I followed for a while, but never really stayed and watched. The stream was cool. It's when I see you've been following. Oh, 22. No way. That's no. Okay, wait. How do I... February.
小料理屋玉江、オフィス街の一角、雑居ビルの2階にあるその店は。
ああ、曽我さんいらっしゃい。
安くてうまくて家庭的。
むしろお帰り。
こんばんは。店主の栄くんはまだ26歳という若さだ。
週に3日も4日も来てくれはんねんから、もうここが家でええんとちゃう？
四国から転勤で大阪にやってきて慣れない生活の中。
ビールで。
はい。ひどい食生活を見かねた上司に連れてこられたのがきっかけで、いつの間にか常連になっていたのだが。
やいや兄ちゃん、しょっちゅう見かけるな思ったら独身かいな。隣へかな。
はい。席移動してくるんです。実は半年経った今も大阪弁が怖い。
やっぱりな。
言いたい。なぜみんな大声なんだろう。そしてむやみに人に突っ込むその心は。
そら嫁さんおったら毎日顔つれせえへんわな。
田口さん奥さんいてはるくせに週には来てくれはるやん。
あんな鬼ババみたいな嫁と思いたないわ。怖い怖い。
そしてどうして人の話をあまり聞こうとしないのか。いや、
お待たせ。はい、曽我さん。ビールとこれ、好きなやつ。
ありがとう。いただきます。
ゆっくりどうぞ。
酒屋君、俺も帰るわ。鬼ババが待っとるからな。
はい。田口さん1800万円ね。
そしたら2000万円からな。それはとっとき。
うわ、200万円も？さすが太っ腹。
誰が腹出てるって。
200万円お釣りとか、またベタな。
ほな、また来るわ。兄ちゃんもまたな。
おおきに。
ごちそうさん。
はあ、嵐が去ったような、そんな。
味どうです？
美味しいです。今日も。
そりゃよかった。いや、なんかいつも騒がしいてすんません。
いや、俺そんな嫌そうな顔してたかな。気つけよう。でも栄君は他の人に比べてそんなに怖くはない。大きい声にビビることはあっても。
曽我さんしょっちゅううちの店でご飯食べてるからやっぱ独身に見られるんですよ。
それ実はね、俺バツイチなんですよ。そんな驚かなくても。
いや、すんません。
離婚してからなんかもう恋愛はいいかなってなって、せっかく大阪に来たんだし心機一転仕事に生きるぞーと思って栄君のご飯で元気もらってる。いつもありがとう。
そんなん言われたら照れますやん。
なんか俺も恥ずかしくなってきた。変なこと言ってごめん。酔ったかな。
いえ、とんでもない。まああれですね、美味しいもん食べたら元気になるしね。俺ももっと美味しいもん作りますんで、お互い頑張りましょう。
そうだね。
なあなあ、曽我君。
はい。
これな、この筋なんでこんななってんの？俺がどうか間違うとんかな。
ちょっと見せてもらっていいですか？ここがちょっとずれてますね。
どこ？ここ？ほんまや、大きに。
言いたい。なんでいちいち叩くのか。
いや、さすが営業部のホープやんな。
いや、そんな営業関係ないですよ。ツッコミがデフォルトとかどういうこと？
曽我さん。
はい。
午後から外回りで張るときお使い頼んでもええかな？
お使いですか？はい、もちろん。
商品の試作品が上がってきたんで営業先にお渡ししてほしいねんけど。
わかりました。女の人でもこの迫力、いやむしろ一番苦手な部類に。
結構重さあんねんけどな。自分あんま力なさそうやし大丈夫かな？
まあなんとか。そしてなぜ叩く？言いたいし。
ほんまに大丈夫？
はい、任せてください。そして遠慮ない視線。みんな悪気はないんだろうけど、いちいち突き刺さる 気がする。
試作品中身醤油やからね。
はい。
落としたら割れんねんから気ぃつけていきや。
はい。慣れる日が来るかな。だって、やっぱ怖い。なんでそんな有無を言わさぬ口ぶりなんだ。行ってきまーす。取引先相手とかなら平気なんだけど。胃が。
曽我さん。
あ、栄くん。
こんにちは。偶然やね。
買い出し中？
うん。曽我さんはこれから外回り？
いや、午前中の分は終わって、今から昼食って会社戻ろうと思ってるとこ。
お昼これからの？よかったらうちで食べていかへん？
ランチやってないよね？
うん。俺もこれから昼食べよう思ってたから、簡単なもんやけど一緒にどうかな？
いや、けど迷惑じゃ。
んなわけあらへんやん。
そう？
当たり前やって。
じゃあお言葉に甘えて。親子丼、俺すごい好きなんです。
そらよかった。どうぞ召し上がれ。
いただきます。うわ、すご、うまっ。
ほんま？
前から思ってたんだけど、うちの会社で扱ってる醤油使ってくれてるよね。
お、さすがですね。
やっぱりそりゃわかるって。
みりんも酒もそうやで。
ありがたいな。ますます店に愛着湧くな。
店だけ？俺には愛着。
そりゃもちろん。
むっちゃ嬉しい。
そう？栄くんは大阪弁だけど、やっぱ他の人よりは大丈夫かも。そうじゃなかったらこの店にもこんな頻繁に通えてないよな。しかし本当美味しい。
なあ、曽我さん。
はい？
曽我さんって本当美味しそうに食べてくれはるね。見てて気持ちええわ。お箸の使い方も上手やし、姿勢もええし、米粒一つ残さずちゃんと綺麗な食べ方しはるよね。
そうかな。
うん。
小さい頃結構親にうるさく言われたからかも。
そういうのちゃんとするのは意外と難しいやん。だから曽我さんええなって思ってて。
ええなとは？
俺な、曽我さんってタイプやね。
タイプって？
顔がむっちゃ好みでな。
顔？それはどういう？
初めて曽我さんが店に来てくれた時から可愛いなって思ってて、続けて来てくれるようになってかなり浮かれた。
可愛いって、それ男に言うセリフじゃないけど、栄くん？浮かれたって、
名前で呼んでくれるようになった時は舞い上がってんで。
舞い上が、
曽我さん、恋愛はもうええなんて言うてたけど、そんな寂しいこと言わんといてや。
栄くん、さっきから何を言ってるのか全く意味がわからないんだけど。
俺、曽我さんのこと好きやね。まあびっくりするよな。
冗談？からかってる？
んなわけないやんか。
だってそんな男同士なのに。
男同士やけど、俺はエッチ込みで付き合ってほしいって意味の好きやねんけど、どうかな。男同士やからって理由でダメなんやったらしょうがないけど、できれば俺自身を見て答え出してほしいね。時間かかってもええからちゃんと考えてくれませんか？
男の子に告白されてしまった。どうしよう。 あれ以来店に行きづらいし、どうしようどうしよう。どうしよ
う。なあなあ曽我君。
高木課長。
僕が紹介した後、たまに結構通ってんねんて。
はい、そうなんで。
おお、そりゃ紹介した甲斐あったわ。
助かってます。
そうかそうか、よかったよかった。
いつでも食い気味にかぶせてくるな。
ほんなら今日は一緒に行こうや。なんやねん、今日は都合悪いんか。
まとめないといけない書類が。
あれやろ、あの書類。
どれか分かってないよね。
そんなもん週明けでええから。今日は花金やで。しかも僕のおごりや。好きなもん頼んだらええからって。手前はどんだけ飲んでもたかが知れてるからな。
だから言いたいって、なんで叩くのだろうか。人の話聞いてほしいな。いや、
ええなあ、課長のおごり。私も行きたいです。私も。おごり大好き。食べんの大好き。
君らはまた今度な。今日は曽我君と二人、差しで飲みたい気分やね。ちゅうわけで決まりや。行くで。
拒否権はないのか。ないんだな。はい。
いらっしゃい。二人やねん。空いてる？中の方どうぞ。いや今日も暑かったわ。酒井君、とりあえず僕ビールな。はい。曽我君同じでええよな。曽我君。
はい。
おしぼりどうぞ。食べ物は何にする？
お任せで。
ほんなら適当に出してもらえる？はい。
なんでこんな。
曽我さん。
はい。
仕事忙しかったんです。いや、しばらく来はらへんかったんで。そうなんや。大変やな、この暑いのに。外回りでしょ。今日はいっぱい食べて栄養つけていってくださいね。はい、どうぞ。
はい。
ビール最高やんな、マジで。これうまいで、酒井君。玉江さんの味抜いたんちゃう？いや、まだまだですよ。
なんかすごい普通。
こっちビール追加ね。
はーい。
俺だけが意識してたとか。
この店前はな、酒井君の母親の玉江さんがやってたんやけど。
はい。
1年半くらい前かな。急に亡くなってたまに手伝うくらいやった酒井君が一人で切り盛りするようになってな。
そうなんですか。
彼もともと頑張り屋やね。玉江さんの味全然変わらん上に彼のオリジナルも増えてきてな。気づいたら前と同じペースで通ってしもてるわ。どうぞ。
おおきに。
高木さん、俺の話するんやったらええ話にしといてくださいよ。俺曽我さんに嫌われたないねん。いやいや、玉江さんの話しててん。美人やったけど気強でな。何回店から締め出されたか。思い出したら涙か。店継ぐタイミングが早まった感じにはなったんやけど、母の頃から常連さんに未だにひいきにしてもろて、助けてもろてありがたいなーって感謝してんのに、むっちゃ悪させえへん限り締め出したりしませんって。お行儀よしてくださいね。その物言い、玉江さんそっくりやで、酒井くん。玉江さん。よーし、今日は玉江さん忍んで飲み明かすで。
わしも俺もや。酒どんどん持ってこい。
ありがたいけど飲みすぎ注意やで。
栄君は周りの人にこれだけ好かれているというのに、なんで俺なんやろ。
ほんでその時の玉江さんがえらい怒ってやな。
あれはほんま怖かったな。
おかわり。
玉江さんにはわし3回も振られてな。
何言うてんの。僕なんか12回も振られてんから。
そりゃすごいな。
曽我さん今日えらい飲んでるけど大丈夫です？
うん、これくらい全然。あれなんか急に
曽我さん、
彼が見えなくて。
具合どうです？あかんって、急に起き上がったら。ほらこれに吐きや。全部だし楽になるから大丈夫やで。ここ店の奥の部屋やから。
申し訳ない。
全然気にせんといてください。もともと体調良くなかったんと違います？水どうぞ。
最近あまり食欲なくて。
ああ、もしかしてそれって俺のせい？俺が曽我さんに告ったせいやんな。
そんな。
今日は料理にほとんど手つけてへんかったし、普段飲んでもビール2杯の人がビール3杯に焼酎ロック5杯やろ。おかしいもん。目を追うてもそらされるしさ。だいたい2日とあけんと通ってくれてたのに、2週間も来おへんかったんは俺と会いたくなかったからやろうなって。
それは
もうマジでへこむわ。ショックやわ。
いや、だってだいたいいい年したおっさん捕まえて可愛いとかないから。
はあ？なくないから。33歳のどこがおっさんやねん。いや、たとえおっさんでも別に俺にとっては問題ないしな。好みなんか人それぞれやん。俺は曽我さんがむっちゃ可愛く思えんねんから。やろそれで。ほんまに可愛いと思ってんねんから。
でも
可愛い言うたら可愛いねん。曽我さんは可愛い。可愛い。
本気？
なんで冗談でこんなこと言わなあかんねん。好きな人に。
今相当頭混乱しとるけん。気持ち悪いし頭痛いしまだ吐きそうじゃし。
方言。
俺今までこんな風に熱烈に告白とかされたことないけん。今相当恥ずかしい上にどうしようかわからん状態で、ひとまずまた日を改めて別途話し合いの機会を。
曽我さん、それは脈があると思ってええの？
いや、脈？そういうことじゃのうて。
曽我さん。方言も可愛いや。
俺今吐いたばっかやぞ。
は？そんなんどうでもええねん。いらん心配しやんでええから気にせえへんし俺。なあ曽我さん、俺とキスしても嫌やなかったやろ？そういうことや。曽我さん。
やけんちょっと待ってって。
なんや、ほだされてくれたんと違うの。
もうちょっとこういうことはゆっくりとやね。
ゆっくりって。
いや、もうほんとキスとかすごい久しぶりにしたっていうか。って俺何言うとんやろ。嫌からな。頭では分かっとんのに心がついていかんというか、本当はもう誰とも付き合う気なんかなかったんよ。でもそれを理由にするんはフェアじゃないよな。嫌からちゃんと考えるから。
蘇我さん、
考えるから今ちょっと休ませてもろてええかな。また吐く。
ああ、顔真っ青や。蘇我さんのこと好きやね。
栄君の言葉で急に現実に引き戻されたような感じがした。
離婚してください。
もう誰かと付き合うとかそういうことは考えないようにしていたのに。それにしてもちゃんと考えるとか返事してしまったけど、正直むちゃくちゃ戸惑ってるし、男の子に告白されたのも初めてだし、キスまでどうすれば。なんだメール。
あれから1週間経つけど体調どうですか？今日はご飯食べられましたか？早く会えるといいな。というか会いたいです。
毎日まめに、よくもまあ俺なんかに一応返信。メールありがとう。まだ本調子じゃないから今日ももう自宅にいます。お店には近々顔出したいと思ってます。送信事務的かな。いやそんなことはないよな。普通でいいわけだし。外回り行ってきます。戻りは16時予定で。
はい。
蘇我さん、こんにちは。
栄君、なんで会社に？どうしたの？何か急用？
ああ、いえ、そうじゃなくて。
おー、酒井君、待っとったね。
課長？
高木さん、
これ言うてた試作品な、使てみてや。いろいろ意見聞かしてや。
はい、ありがとうございます。
いやいや、これもリサーチのうちやね。
なんだ、そうか、サンプルもらいに俺に会いに来たのかと。思ってないし、そんなこと。
蘇我君。
はい。
君外回り別に急ぎじゃないやろ。
はい。
量多いから酒井君の店まで一緒に運んであげてくれんかな。重いで。
はい。
お願いします、蘇我さん。わざわざありがとうございました。
全然。じゃあ俺行くね。
もう？仕事中やもんな。しょうがないか。今日は蘇我さんに会えたらええなって思って会社行ったから、会えて嬉しかったです。蘇我さん。そんな怯えられても、可愛いだけですよ。いや、マジで。そういうとこ、好きです。
さらっと、そういうことを言えるんだね。
さらっとじゃないですよ。本気ですって。蘇我さんまだ腰が引けてるみたいやし、ちょっとでも俺のことを意識してもらおう思って、これでも必死なんですよ。好きになってもらえるように、努力したいんです。
その前向きさが眩しくてつい目を閉じてしまった。
あらら。
なんか息が苦しい。 と思ってたら熱が出てた。
なんや曽我君大丈夫かいな。
なんとか。
大阪来てからの疲れが溜まってたんやわ。機会やからゆっくり休みや。
はい、ありがとうございます。とりあえず薬、病院。ダメだ、歩けない。なんだこれ。せめて水だけ枕元に。暑い、息苦しい。街で偶然見かけた。
大丈夫か？
ええ。
別れた妻とその再婚相手。幸せなんだな。寒くて孤独が後ろから襲いかかってくるみたいだ。もう一生誰とも恋愛なんてしない。誰のことも好きにならない。メール、栄くんから。
曽我さん、昨日は会えてすごい嬉しかったです。別れ際、なんか顔色が悪かったので、ちょっと心配してしまいました。体調は大丈夫ですか？また早く曽我さんに会いたいです。会いたいです。酒井君、もう空いてる？あ、高木さん、いらっしゃい。昨日はいろいろいただいてありがとうございました。使うてどうやったか教えてな。ビールちょうだい。なあ、実はいただいた白だし使って一品作ってみたんで、よかったら。おお、ええの？やったラッキーや。これ美味しいわ。ビールにも合うし。いい商品ですよ、この白だし。手軽に使えるし。そういや、今日はいつもより早いんですね。ああ、そうやね。曽我くんが熱出たとこで休んでてな。曽我くんおらんとできん仕事が多くてな。社内から定時で上がって。彼ああ見えてマルチでいろいろできんねん。考えたら彼に仕事を振りすぎてるなと思って。いや、反省したわ。熱って大丈夫なんですかね？どうやろう。朝電話あった時はしっかり喋ってたけどな。悪うなってないとええねんけど、一人暮らしやし心配やんな。ああ、すみません、メールから。なんや、彼女か？いやいや、俺彼女とかいないんで。高木さん！おお、お父さん！曽我さんってどこに住んでるんですか？
暑いのに寒い、だるい、しんどい、心細い。あれ、なんかいい気持ち。もっと触って。
こんばんは。 具合どうです？
しんどい。
そっか。汗だくやな。着替えます？
うん。
着替えどこです？
クローゼットの一番下に。
起きれる？
うん。
タオル濡らしたからこれで体拭いて。
ありがとう。うん？
俺こっち向いてるんで早く拭いて服着てください。
別に男同士なのに。
やからあかんねんって俺にとっては。
あ、そうか。そういうこと？
そういうことです。これ飲めたら飲んでください。野菜スープ店のやつやけど。
ありがとう。いただきます。
はい。
おいし
い。よかった。
なんか栄くんにはみっともないとこばっか見られてるな。
むしろ他の人には見せてないやろ。俺だけやろ。
なら一つお願いなんだけど、今のこの気持ちが栄くんが言ってくれた好きと同じものかどうかはまだわからない。熱のせいで気が弱くなってるだけかもしれない。でも今日は一緒にいてほしい。俺ね、大学の時の同級生と街で再会して付き合って28歳の時に結婚したんよ。
方言。
3年経っても子供ができんけん、病院で検査したら原因は俺の方やって分かって、この先子供授かる可能性は低いって言われて、俺は2人でいられればよかったんやけど、彼女は違を取ったんよね。好きな人ができたからって、あなたと一緒にいても未来が見えないからって離婚した。彼女の選択は正しい。全部俺が悪いんやし。やけん、この先もし誰かと付き合ってもまた俺のせいで辛い思いさせたら嫌じゃけん。
辛かったんは曽我さんも一緒やろ。覚えといてほしいねんけど、俺は曽我さんがいてくれたらそれでええから。ゆっくり寝て早く元気になってな。そしたら美味しいもんいっぱい作るからな。聞こえてる？曽我さ
ん。眠ったふりをしてしまいたかった。眩しくてつむったままだった目を次に開くとき、何かが変わるのだろうか。
久し、お昼ばら寿司で
大阪から四国へ1週間の出張中、その間は実家に泊まっている。おう、やった
ほんならそうしよう。
あ、タケノコとエビいっぱい入れて。
はいはい。久しくん、戦おうや。久しくん、かくれんぼしようや。遊ぼうや。なあ、遊んでや。
おうおう、順番な。
ねえねえ、兄ちゃん。今度みんなで USJ 行くとき止めてや。ママ。
おい、俺の今住んどるとこ 1DK やぞ。
何人泊まれるかチャレンジしてみようや。ホテル代浮かしたいんよ。
あの部屋にか。あの部屋。熱を出した次の日、起きてもまだ栄くんはいてくれた。
顔色ようなったな。熱もない。よかった。今日 抵抗せえへんの？
うん。栄くんとおるとなんか安心する。
そんなこと言われたらどんどんその先も期待してしまうやん。
先って？
そんなんエッチなことに決まってるやろ。蘇我さん。
何急に思い出して。
大丈夫？お顔赤い。
だってあれは
赤い。お顔赤い。
なんでもないけん。いつもみたいに栄くんが、いやあれは俺が受け入れたからしたわけであって。本当はもう迷うとか戸惑うとかそんな息は出てる。
久し。
母さん。
あんたちょっと痩せたやろ。
ああ、こないだ体調崩してちょっとだけ。
ほうなん？無理したらいかんよ。
会社の人にもえらい怒られた。仕事しすぎじゃ言うてまくし立てられて相当怖かった。休んでご迷惑をおかけします。
蘇我さん、自分一人で仕事やってんのとちゃうねんから、ちょっとは頼れ言うてんねん。ええか？わかったか？
せやせや。
けどみんな心配してくれとったみたいで、俺ずっと大阪弁怖いなって思っとって、会社の人と本音で付き合っとらんかったのに、何でも表面だけ見とったらいかんなって反省した。
大阪の人は情に熱いって言うしな。人に恵まれたな。
いやね。
なあ久し、あんた好きな人とかおらんの？
え？好きな？
蘇我さん、いらっしゃい。
そのうちどうしてもあんたじゃないといかんって人がひょっこり現れるわ。そしたらその人逃がさんようにな。あんたの決めたことやったら私ら家族は何でも応援するけんね。
好きな人。一番に浮かんだのが栄くんとか。本当もう母さんどうしようもない。ごめん。夕方の電車に乗る言うとったけど今すぐ大阪戻るけん。
兄ちゃんもう出るん？お昼せっかく好きなやつバラ寿司。
ごめん、大阪にもっと食べたいもんがあるんよ。
ちょっとなんなんよ。あれあれ隅に置けんの。
なんよ久しもう帰るんか。慌ただしいやっちゃの。
とっくに答えは出てたのに。会いたい。今すぐ伝えたい。特急電車で瀬戸大橋を渡って新幹線に乗り換える。大阪まで3時間半の道のり。こんなに長かったっけ？ちゃんと考えて出した答えを聞いてほしい。栄くん。
蘇我さん？
誰？
おかえり。早かったんやね。帰ってくるの今日の夜中って言ってなかった？入って、ビールで。
綺麗な子。
あ、栄、私もおかわり。
お前はもう飲むな。まだ夕方やのに何杯目やねん。
固いこと言いなや。
わかったわかった。ああ、蘇我さんもしかして新大阪から直接来てくれた？蘇我さん？
いや、お土産が生ものだから私に来ただけ。はい、これ。じゃこ天。
ああ、ありがとう。
日曜も店にいることが多いって前言ってたから、会えてよかった。じゃあ、帰るね。
ゆっくりしていってよ。
いや、お客さんもいるみたいやし。
いや、こいつ企画と違うし。
なんやねん、失礼な。
すみません。お邪魔しました。
蘇我さん？
二人並んでたらまるで夫婦みたいだった。そんなわけないのに。逃げ出したりして何してんだ俺。これじゃまるで拗ねた子供みたいだ。
ほんまですよ。
栄君、なんで
じゃあらへん。せっかく久しぶりに会えたと思ったら急に帰るから心配になったんや。さっき店におったあいつとは何でもないで。高校の同級生で弁護士やねん。母親が亡くなった時いろいろ世話になって。なあ、俺女の子は対象外やって曽我さん分かってるよな。
別に彼女を気にしてるわけじゃない。
やったらなんで？なあ曽我さん。
誰がどうこうじゃなくて、これは俺自身の問題で。
どういうこと？
嫌じゃった。せっかく俺早く帰ってきたのに他の人と一緒におることないやろ。栄君のご飯楽しみに帰ってきたのに休みの日に他の人に作ってあげることないじゃろ。普通あんだけ好き好き言うてこられたら俺だけじゃ思うやろ。栄君が日曜に会うんもご飯作んのも俺だけやろ。
わがまま。
ごめん、今のは。
曽我さん、そんなわがまま言うくらい俺のことが好きなんて。
好きなんよ。
ほんまに？
こんなこと嘘ついてどうするん。いつの間にか自分でもびっくりするくらい好きになっとった。なんでやろ。栄君のご飯美味しいけんじゃろか。
ご飯だけ？
なわけないじゃろ。
あめっちゃ嬉しい。めちゃめちゃ嬉しい。嬉しい。
栄君。
曽我さ
ん。なんか相当いろいろ言いくるめられた気がする。言葉巧みにあれやこれやされた気がする。もういかんって言うとるのに大丈夫大丈夫って何回も何回も何回も何回も何回も。
またまた全部同意やったやん。言うてたやん。
やっぱ大阪弁怖い。足腰立たんわ。俺が小料理屋玉江に通い始めたのは東京からここ大阪に転勤になってしばらくしてからだ。一人でも気兼ねなく食事のできる家庭料理の店を探していたところ、たまたま入ったこの店が当たりだった。
どうぞ。
古いが掃除の行き届いた店内はとても衛生的。尖れた包丁、真っ白な布巾、磨かれた調理台。俺にとってはそれだけで安心できるのに、料理がとにかくうまいとなれば常連にならないわけがない。いただきます。
どうぞごゆっくり。
うまい。白米と味噌汁を頼むか。いや、後でお茶漬けか。
なあなあ。
しかしこの温玉つくねにはやっぱり白い飯。
なあってば。なあ自分。なんで野菜食べへんの？
はあ？
今日のおすすめの五目けんじんむっちゃうまいで。たっぷり根菜と豆腐に具合に味が染みてて、鶏肉の代わりに豚バラ使うてる店主ご自慢の一品やで。
なんだこいつ。
なんで無視？
人の皿に向かってベラベラ喋るなよ。唾飛んだらどうしてくれるんだ。食えなくなるだろ。
なあ聞いてる？疑問に思ったこと聞いてんねんから答えてくれたかってええやろ。なあ
しつこい。
こらこら、カラメちゃん。お客さんに迷惑やで。すみません、中津さん。堪忍してやってくださいね。
はあ。
うっさいわ、栄。
なんだ、店主の友達か。そういや前からちょくちょく見かけたことはある。
俺前から気になっとってん。このお兄ちゃん野菜の入ってる料理全然注文せえへんねんもん。
前っていつから見てたって？店主ならともかく、なんでこいつが。
なんで
野菜が食べられないからに決まっている。残したら作った人にも申し訳ないから注文しないだけで。
ほー。
ただ別に全部食べられないわけじゃない。野菜の元の形状が残っているものが苦手なんだ。あと生のもの、ハンバーグに入ってる玉ねぎはちゃんと食べられるし、他にも。
うわ、子供か。大人やのにむっちゃ可愛らしいこと言うな自分。
かわいら。なんなんだこいつ。
なんでまた無視すんの。
この間のあいつ、今日は会わないといい。せっかくの食事がまずく。
そこの兄ちゃんなんや、自分今から玉行くの？俺もやねん。一緒に行こう。あれなんで逃げんねん。待ってや。待ちって
なんだ。
はあ、そっちこそなんやねん。待ってって言うてんのに逃げられたら追いかけたくなんのが人間や。
だからなんなんだよ。
やから一緒に玉へ行こうって。そんでこれあんたにあげようと思って。はい、おいしいで。
草なんか食えるか。嫌がらせか。
草ちゃう、ほうれん草や。
ほうれん草の草は草と書いて草だろ。それは草だ。
なあ自分アホなん？頭良さそうに見えるけどむっちゃアホなんだってまた逃げる。
これどうぞ。煮るなり焼くなり好きにしてくれ。
せっかく俺あんたにあげたのになんてことを。
どうせ俺は食べないんだから、ここで材料として使ってもらう方がいいだろ
う。なんやと？
君ら他のお客さんに迷惑やで、分かってる？で栄君、若いもんは元気やな。
しゃ、ほんなら栄、この兄ちゃんが食べれるようにこれでなんか作って。
またカナメちゃんはそういうこと言うて。
なんやねん、先輩命令やで。
はいはい。
はいはいってことは、あれが料理されて出てくるってことだよな。俺は食べないぞ。断じて食べない。だってあれは草だ。草。お構いなく。草。グギギギギギギ。
はい、どうぞ。ポタージュにしてみました。
緑。
色が緑なんは我慢してもらうとして、葉っぱの形じゃないし味も草っぽくないからきっと食べれると思いますよ。
緑緑緑緑緑緑緑。はあ、しかしせっかく作ってくれたものを食べないわけには。おいしい。
やろう。
おお、
しゃ
あ。よかった。
食べられた。
ほれみ言うたやろ。堺の作るもんは何でも美味しいね。好き嫌いせんと野菜の入ったやつも食べたらええんやって。まあその野菜も全部俺んちの八百屋からおろしてるし。
八百屋か。
まあ言うてみたら俺のおかげで食べれたわけやから。
他の野菜は無理。それに店主のおかげだ。
なんでやねん。ありがとうございました。
今日はもう玉江は閉まってるが、店主の肉豆腐食いたい。こういう疲れてる日こそ行きたいものだ。
酒井の作るもんは何でもうまいし。
なぜあいつの顔が浮かぶ。なあ、やろ。
いや、やって。
幻聴まで。
今日は気分やない。
はあ、
だからいややって言うてるやろ。
お前調子に乗んなや。もうええ年やろ。相手選べる立場か。本物
話せって。
って何すんねん、このクソビッチが。
お前こそソロのくせに偉そうにいいのよ。
てめえ。おまわりさん、こっちで喧嘩してます。こっち来い。おい待てやこら。思わず握ってた。
助かった。
どうして俺は。
兄ちゃん名前
中津。
そやった、中津さん。中津硬いな。
何が。
下の名前は
忠之。
忠之。なんや名前も硬いな。でもまあそっちのがええな。忠之。
呼び捨てか。
ありがとう。俺のことは要でええから。
とくん。さっきのお前男が好きなのか。
そやで。なんや見たことないんかゲ
イ。ない。
まあ隠してる人も多いしな。
お前も多少隠した方がいいんじゃないか。
そう。
せめて道端であんな風に喧嘩は始めない方がいい。血は喧嘩にしてはやりすぎだ。
別に付き合ってないけど。
は
あの男とはたまにやるだけやし。でももうないわ。あいつマジでソロな上全然良くないし、時々お尻とか叩くねんで。ひどくない？もっと大事にされたいわ。
殴ったりお尻叩いたりしない奴と付き合え。じゃあな。
助けてくれたお礼。
俺
忠之はどう？俺。
どう俺とはどういう。
俺付き合うなら忠之がええな。殴ったりお尻叩いたりせえへんやろ。
するわけない。
やっぱりなあ、付き合うて。
なんだと。
今日の要ちゃんのお野菜料理はこちら。じゃじゃーん、もやしバーグ。
作ったのは栄くんだろ
う。でも俺が持ってきた野菜。
栄くんも毎回面倒だろうし、こんなことに付き合わせたら申し訳ない。
いえいえ、俺要ちゃんの頼みは断れないんですよ。うちの店、親の代から要ちゃんちの八百屋に世話になってるんで。
なんだ、何か弱みでも握られているのかと思っていた。
んなわけないやろ。それにね、野菜得意じゃない人のための料理考えんのも楽しくなってきて。
なんて前向きなんだ。いいやつ。
せやで、曽我さんもよかったら食べて。
ありがとう。いただきます、もやし。
酒屋むっちゃ前向きなええ子や。俺の言うことを聞いてくれるし。
その自慢の仕方は変だ。
それに忠之、酒屋の作ったもんなら食べれるようになってきたやんか。うまいやろ。
ああ。
せっかくここまで頑張ったのに、やめたらまた食べれんくなんで。俺の愛の力のおかげやな。
断じて違う。栄くんのおかげだ。ごちそうさまでした。
おおきに。
ってついてくるなよ。
なんで？
なんでって、お前な。
だってこないだの返事もまだ聞いてへんし。付き合おう。
誰にでもそうなのか？
え？
簡単に付き合ってとか、別に俺のことが好きなわけでもないだろ。
好きやで。
だからそんな簡単に。
好きや。だってかっこええし、こないだ助けてくれたん王子様みたいやったで。さすが東京から来てるだけあるわ。俺の周りにそんな風にスーツカチッと着こなしたすっとしたイケメンなんかそうそうおれへんで。ちょっと冷たいとことか S っぽいのも標準語もええなって思うし、やのに野菜食べられへんとかどんだけ可愛いね。これギャップ萌えってやつやろ。
到底本気とは思えない。
俺結構真剣に言うてんねんけど。
俺はもともと人に触れるのが苦手だ。近くにいるだけで息が詰まるし、手を握るのだって、キスだってそうだ。他人の唾液が口の中に入るなんて気持ちが悪い。セックスにおいては生理現象を利用したただの義務感でなんとか成し終えていた。好きで付き合った彼女でさえ必要最低限。
したくないってどうして？
嫌悪感のある行為をわざわざ繰り返してするわけがない。思った通りのことを言ったら大抵振られた。
忠之、これさっき畑で採れた野菜だぞ。そのまま食べても甘くて美味しいから。
へえ。
お？なんだ虫か？新鮮で美味しいから虫が食べるんだよ。
やだ、食べない。もう野菜食べたくない。
忠之？
きっと美味しいからこいつにも人が寄ってくるんだろ
どないしたん？
近くに寄られても手をつないでもキスをしても平気だった。気持ち悪いどころかむしろ。
忠之？
困る。だってこいつ男だぞ。でもない。
嘘。顔赤いで。
俺は触れられたところから俺は全身に熱が伝わっていく。
忠之。
熱い。
何でも食わず嫌いはあかんと思うねん。やからお試しでもええから俺と。
帰る。じゃあな。こんな熱を俺は知らない。
なあなあ、忠之俺と付き合う気になった。なあってば忠之。付き合ってみたら俺の良さもわかると思うねんけど。今付き合うと超豪華3大特典付きやで。野菜食べ放題、エッチし放題とや。
あと一つ足りないじゃないか。
ほんまや。
あの日以降もずっとこの男はずうずうしく俺の隣に座り続けている。
特典何がええかな。あと一つ。
何事もなかったかのような振る舞いがますます俺を混乱させる。
あかん、もう一個思いつかへんわ。 なあ、やっぱ得点2つでええかな。その分エッチを濃くすることを俺は誓うで。で、聞いてる？
うん、別にいいんじゃないか。どうでも。
ちょっと真面目に聞いてや。
すみません。焼酎ボトルでもう一本。
はいはい。中津さんもう一本開けたの？今日ペース早くないです？大丈夫？
言うてるそばから。おう、飲め飲め。酔っ払っても俺がちゃんと送っていくし大丈夫や。
じゃあ安心して酔えるな。
マジでええの？ほら忠之、もっと飲んでええで。こら要ちゃん。
今俺何を？
酔っ払い待ちしとこう。殺風景な部屋やな。
悪かったな。
や、でもなんか落ち着くで。
くそ、飲みすぎた。
なあ、水とか飲んだ方がええんちゃう？
ああ、冷蔵庫に。
勝手に開けるで。
近寄ったらダメだって思っているのに、どうして俺はこいつに本当に家まで送らせるなんて。
はい。
すまない。
いえいえ。家に入れてくれて嬉しいな。優しいな、忠之。
別に優しいわけじゃない。冷たいし怖いとよく言われるし、自分でもそう思う。
何それ？単に顔に出えへんからそう見えるだけやろ？
は？
リアクションの問い方わからんくて困ってるだけやろ？忠之は優しいで。
何？
それに俺の気持ち分かってて邪険にせえへんやん。今日買って送り狼の役も任命してもろたし。それってどういうことか聞きたいねんけど。忠之。なんで？キスしようや。なあ、忠之。
俺はあれから1週間、あいつは姿を見せない。あれだけしつこく付きまとってきていたくせに。やはりあれがいけなかったのか。
中津さん、これどうぞ。サービスです。トマトのゼリー。今朝要ちゃんちの八百屋に行ったら中津さんにって渡されたんで、フルーツトマト食べてやってください。
どうしていいかわからなくなるのは当然じゃないか。今まで踏み入れたことのない世界を体験するのは誰だって怖いだろう。躊躇しないわけがない。そこを越えれば何か見えてくるというのか。
何でも食わず嫌いはあかんと思うね。
うまい。もう八百屋は閉まっているだろうが、もしかしたらいるかもしれない。携帯の番号くらい聞いておけばよかったのだろうか。そんな必要はないと思ってたんだ。会ってどうするんだ。そんなの自分でもわからない。でも
蘇我さ
ん、もう
そやな。
何なんだ要。帰るぞ。
ああ、なあ。
なんであいつと抱き合ってた？
なんでって、忠之？
なんで俺はこんなことを。
俺、忠之に嫌われたかと思って。相談に乗ってもろてたというか、単に泣きついてたというか。別に変なあれじゃないで。さっきの曽我さん、坂井戸付き合うてるし。
そうなのか。
うん。つか、なんでそんなに気にしてんの？
あれからしばらく姿見なかったから。
気にしてくれてたん？ありがとう。俺、反省してて。忠之の態度見てたら、俺を好きになってくれたんかなって勘違いして。男初めてなら自分から手出しにくいよなって。俺の方からあんなことしてしまって。気持ち悪い思いさせて。悪かったなって思って。
違う。お前のせいじゃない。俺はセックスが好きじゃない。セックスだけじゃない。誰かに触ったり触られたり、そういう行為全般が苦手なんだ。今までは我慢して人間関係を円滑に行うためにも、恋人との恋愛関係を継続させるためにも、割り切って嫌々でもやってきたんだ。でもお前に対してはそうじゃなくて、さっきお前が言ってた通りだ。お前に触れたいと思ったのに、同性に対してそんな感情を持つ自分に迷って、どうしていいかわからなくなって、結局逃げ出した。自分の気持ちとお前から。
なあ、俺が初めてな。自分から触りたいって思ったの。
ああ。今までフェラの後、キスなんて絶対嫌だったのに、自分からしそうになって驚いた。
ほな、今から続きする。今日はちゃんと触ってくれるんやろ？なあ、俺美味しかったやろ？もう多分この先忠之は俺なしでは生きていかれへんで。
ほんまやな。
大阪弁。
食わず嫌いはあかんかったな。
わら
ん？
発音ちょっと違うで。変。
そうか。
かっこいいわ。
2024. Ah. Damn. Yeah, we actually we didn't even do mental health streams back then. We were just gaming, actually. Oh yeah, I know it's a bit annoying, but yeah. It's very uncharted territory for me, but I feel I can learn when I can respond appropriately to situations similar to what I read here. Shu, can you explain that again? I'm really confused by the sentence. I feel like I can learn for when I can respond appropriately to situations similar to what I read here. Do you mean you can learn how you can respond appropriately to situations from what you read here? Is that a thing? Like, is that the thing you meant? Gaming what games? I think back then it was mostly like League of Legends, probably. Or Valorant? Oh yeah. I also played Overwatch at some point, or Apex. I did a bunch of things. So, so how are you doing, Navandro? Valorant, she played Valorant. True. Right now, I honestly, like, the only game I play at the moment is League of Legends here and there, because I don't play as much anymore. But I did play, like, one game or something of Valorant a few weeks ago. It was kind of cool. Hi, Grim Reaper. Welcome, welcome. How you doing? I had a big talk with someone about rehab. They didn't understand the risks from detox. Detox from what specifically? From medications or other things? The only voice in my head is what keeps me both in reality and delusion. I fight with myself, but that's what helps me grow mentally, if that makes sense. Yeah, no, I think it makes a lot of sense. I feel like sometimes we like don't really want to challenge ourselves, but I feel like these moments where we're in conflict with ourselves are the moments where we find new answers, right? Because if there's a conflict, there's gonna be like we need to find a resolution to that conflict within ourselves. So there's gonna be new information at the end of the day. I don't know exactly how I'm doing. Are you in the medication again, which is like numbing you? League addict also here. Let's go, girls. Slay. Yep. You never would have guessed League? Well. Seven stream streak. Let's go, Novandro. Drugs and alcohol, the first 10 days in rehab, detoxing from your addictions. Oh, yeah. So you were talking to somebody who's like detoxing right now from like drugs or alcohol? The problem with rehab is you gotta get back into the world. You're trying to get her into rehab. How's the problem with rehab that you need to get back into the world? Oh, that it's like sort of like that it's not implementing a long enough behavior change that you can actually like do that in, let's say like IRL. Oh my god, Bolivia. Hmm? What? Huh? What is that? I don't understand what you're trying to tell me. With the looted and 5k local currency. Oh, damn, Master. So, but so if they, what? So they stole 5k from you. Oh, okay. Because I was about to say, like, when you say, like, you paid it, that's not really, like, them just, like, taking it out of your home without you, like, noticing, right? Damn. In which country do you live again, Davanto? That seems like a really unsafe environment. Mm. Mm. I'm glad you're safe, Navandra. Mm. I'm sorry for you. I want to go a little bit more in detail about the rehab situation because I actually yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I never thought about it this way, so I'm actually like, I really like your insights here, Grim Reaper. Um, because you're entirely right. Like rehab is taking you like off the like drugs or the alcohol, but you like usually you get addicted because there is something you want to avoid, right? Like there's some like motivation essentially, like pushing you into addiction of like forgetting something or not being bothered by XYZ. And then at the same time, it's usually addiction, like when we've been addicted for a long time, right? We sort of build our environment to fit that addiction as well, right? So for example, the friends you have might be like also alcoholics. And then you get out and you're like instantly like back in that old environment. Where you might even like be shamed for like not drinking anymore and stuff like this. Like the support you have, like once you go out, like are out of rehab again, is like really depending on your situation and might not be really good. And at the same time, like yeah, like you don't only need rehab, right? But you also probably need help with whatever pushed you into addiction, to actually get over it properly. And I would hope that this is also being tackled in rehab. So that rehab is a combination out of like, first of all, stopping the addiction, but second of all, therapy. But yeah, I don't know much personally about rehab. Does make me feel bad. I want her to go to rehab and have a better life, but I can't be really honest. Hmm. I mean, in a way, Asla, though, the fact that you nearly died in rehab, but still believe in rehab is isn't that more of like, doesn't that show how much you believe in rehab? Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Like rehab alone, like just getting you off of alcohol and stuff like this is not gonna do the trick. Hmm. I'm really glad for you, Asta. So why did you went to rehab in South Africa? Like, is rehab better there than here? Hmm. Navandro, I would really hope that you're not alone with this, but that your parents could support you with this. But I'm glad that you like talk to your friends. Hmm. Oh, so there's way different rules around rehabs as well. Let's see. Hmm. Well, I'm glad that rehab worked for you, Esther. I feel like rehabs can probably like still like even once you go back, like everything comes back clashing down. Like maybe there's a way how you can like in rehab also set yourself up to get like therapy after rehab still, right? Or you get a diagnosis in rehab, which is gonna like, I don't know, maybe like a burnout diagnosis or something, which is gonna take away some of the stresses after rehab. Or that you at least gained hope that it could be better and there's a better way, right? But I definitely agree that like just if you're like just being put back into like the normal environment after, it takes a lot of strength to still keep going and then like change your life around your a new sober lifestyle, right? My thoughts on alcohol. Well, I rarely drink alcohol at all. Yeah. Um, I think alcohol is what I don't like about alcohol is that it's like so like the effects of it and especially like the disadvantages it have is really minimized in our society. Like I feel like with drugs, it's a thing where like you can of course like you can choose to do that, but I think like you should be aware of the decision you make in that moment. Um, but there is apparently like there's new knowledge actually that with alcohol it's always negative. Like back in the day, we thought that only if you drink more than a certain amount of alcohol, it's going to be negative for your body. But nowadays, we actually know that it starts at zero. So, like, if you drink any alcohol at all, like, also if it's just a really, really slim amount, it's bad for your health. So, sort of like knowing this like new information, it definitely made me like I was never like a really like alcohol type person. But like knowing this really made me sort of like look into, for example, because I like cocktails now and then, like I think like it's just I don't know, it's like a fancy drink, right? But I don't need alcohol in it. Like I really don't. I just want like a fancy nice drink. And there's a lot of anti-alcoholic, like really nice cocktails, right? But some of the cocktails I really like just needs like a very specific ingredient, which I only so far found as like the alcohol, right? But nowadays there's a lot of like anti-alcoholic alternatives from the brand of the alcohol, for example. So I don't know if you all know aperitif. It's like this red stuff. And like people usually drink it like with champagne or something like this. I don't do that. That's disgusting. But I use it with bitter lemon and raspberries, and that's really nice. Um, or with like soda, like wild berry soda. Um, but yeah, bitter lemon is like the really nice. Anyways, but yeah, like this aperitif now is available in like a alcohol-free version. So I think that's really cool. Does red wine taste sweet? I have no idea. I don't like wine, and I also don't like beer. Like they're way too bitter. But what about you, Sterling? Well, I mean, also like wheat isn't like entirely healthy, right? I already had a high sensitivity because Both my biologic parents were addicts. I told you I was a party animal when it came to alcohol? Sure. Loneliness can literally be worse than smoking a pack a day health-wise. Yeah. Have you been here already? Because this is one of the studies I quote like on, or rather an article I quote so much. Lord, do I quote it much. Like, we already talked about this article so often here in stream. It is, this article, guys. Efteling, welcome, and thank you for the follow. For me, I know it's bad, but alcohol is too comforting. For me, anyway. How is it comforting? Oh my god, you. See, that's the thing, like, the one with, like, oh, like, recommend me a wine, which is, like, good for, like, the first time I taste, like, bitter taste and stuff. I never had the motivation to actually like wine. I would just be like, I don't know, like, I tried it before, like, I'm not gonna, like, try to find a wine which tastes good. Because I know, like, it's, like, health-wise, it's not positive anyway. So it doesn't, like, I'm not gonna, like, spend time on finding an option there. Hmm. What? Did you know Lush? I discovered it. Let me look that up. How does that bird look? Oh my lord. Yeah. 10 to 11 meters. Wow. There's like a picture of like how big it would look when like a human is next to it. Jeez. I'm boring. I don't smoke, don't drink alcohol, and don't do drugs. I'm just a grandpa. I don't think that's boring, right? Like, we need to break the stigma here. Like, we can't like behave like that's still the case. Like, I don't smoke, I don't drink, and I don't do drugs. Oh, yeah. Soju is actually like that's like soju is the only thing I recently drank as alcohol actually. Like now I remember like last week when we played D&D, like our entire table shared one bottle, like half a bottle actually of soju. Hi Syntax. Welcome, welcome. How you doing? Can you flex your arms? I don't think they're like, oh, there's a little bit, but yeah. I'm like super like unfit. Like I only started like this year to go to the gym, so please don't judge me. Why you think men struggle to talk about struggles as much as women? Um, I mean, because it's hard, right? I don't know, like, I'm not sure if I understand the question correctly, but I just think, like, talking about, like, being vulnerable, right? And, like, talking about your struggles is just a tough thing to do. Like, you need the right people around you for it to be successful as well. And you need to have learned that it's an option, essentially. Like, depending on, like, what your, I guess, like, child situation was, it's gonna be hard or easy for you. Actually, I have something for you, Efteling. There's apparently they did some research on like ants, and they found out that there is like essentially like one group of ants, which is going from, I think, from like Italy all around to uh like all around to like France or something like this. Like there's like I don't know where it was specifically again, but there's sort of like one weird like group of ants where like they they have like the different uh they have different like homes, but sort of like still I don't know like work together. And it's like crazy long. Like what all sort of like how information travels between them, crazy distance. Yeah. Also use some alcohol to like cook or bake, yeah. Mm. You might need mental health support. What do you need mental health support with? Muscle mommy, right? Sure. Mm. Or like the have you ever seen this like the mouth with the teeth of this like really old like shark situation thing? Um where like one of the teeth is like I don't know like is it like this? I don't even know. Like I've only seen pictures of it, but it looks like crazy large. Like could essentially like eat you in like one. But let's come back to the mental health. Um Yeah, this is the thing. Like because what was said, right, from Sterling is why you think men struggle to talk about struggles as much as women. This implies that they struggle the same, and the question is more like, why do they struggle the same as women? Like they should struggle less or more. Um, so this is why I'm like unsure about the question because, like you guys, I like the more common narrative is that men struggle more to talk about their feelings. I, by the way, feel like we're sort of like this whole thing of like, oh, we need to like rewire, not believe that like men shouldn't cry and all that. Um, I feel like in that moment where we it's like, it's a weird situation. Because I think nowadays, like sort of like my generation doesn't have that as much anymore. Like actual experiences where we were like, where we got like negative feedback like that, I think is happening rarely. But in a weird way, this image, I think, is maintained through this fear being sort of like proclaimed as a fact, how society still works. And then people never even try and never even make their own experiences whether they would actually still get that feedback or not. But they just take that as a fact without ever having experienced this sort of harsh feedback, right? So this is why, like, definitely like the older generations, like the generation of my mom, for example, like they for sure, like they still, like they got like ass whooping and stuff like that, you know? So it's a thing where I just sort of like wonder if we were to try today and put ourselves out there, be vulnerable, and see what reactions we get. What reactions would we get? Like, would that still be a thing which we encounter? Because in a weird way, us humans, we're really the way we perceive reality is really dependent on how we expect reality to be, right? So I've heard about this one study. I'm gonna see if I'm gonna find it right now. Let me quickly read through this. Okay. So, let me put that on the screen. So I have like this. I don't know how good of a resource psychology today is. But that's the resource I have. I've seen some others. This is just sort of the first one I clicked on. So there's the Dartmouth scar experiment, and the brief overview is, and I'm just gonna like read this out loud now. The Dartmouth scar experiment, researchers set out to study how people with perceived physical deformities, in this case a facial scar, believe others view them. Participants were told that they would be given a realistic-looking scar on their face, which was intended to make them feel physically unattractive. In reality, participants were shown the scar in a mirror and then told that makeup would be applied to simulate the scar throughout the experiment. Unbeknownst to the participants, the scar was removed before they interacted with others. The results were striking. Even without a visible scar, participants continued to believe that others were treating them differently due to their perceived deformity. They reported feeling stigmatized as people were reacting negatively to their appearance, despite the fact that no scar was present. The results highlight the powerful influence of self-perception and how it can distort our interpretation of the world around us. The implications of this study go beyond physical appearance, offering insight into how our internal beliefs and expectations shape our interactions with others. I'm gonna give you guys the link to this so you can read it for yourself if you want to. I'm gonna take it off the screen now. Essentially, this is sort of like what I'm getting at. Because the moment we sort of say that this is a fact and this is how people treat us, we shape an expectation, right? So if we expect others to treat us miserably if we show emotions, we're more likely to perceive others treating us miserably to emotions. And they don't even need, or like to interpret how they treat us as them treating us miserably to us showing emotions. So in a way, in that moment where we take this as a fact, that like, oh, like this is just how society treats you, like there's no like men don't cry and stuff like this. In that moment where we believe that, we are also more likely to interpret the word like this, like according to that belief. Do you believe that love alone is enough reason to get married, or is marriage a serious decision that requires more than emotions that can change over time? I think marriage is a more serious thing. I think marriage itself is like, to me, it does matter. But spending a life together, making that decision to spend a life together, is a decision you need more than love for. I think there's a lot of people on the planet you can love. And I think with all of them, your life is going to be different. Knowing that we all have only one life, it makes a lot of sense to check what life you want to live and if that's going to work well with your partner. So I think two people can love each other and then still decide to break up because the way they want to live their life is not aligning nicely. Well, the thing is, Tainted Wisdom, you can now still change that, right? So this is essentially with with therapy, because I am coming like, I'm not a guy, right? But I'm coming from your place, people. I essentially in therapy, and like before that, I always thought, because of like the way of my upbringing worked, right? That showing emotions is bad. Essentially also like showing like vulnerability specifically is gonna get you treated just weak. Like people are gonna go over your head. They're gonna decide for you. Like essentially you're gonna lose credibility, responsibility, respect, and your normal human rights. This was something I learned by experience. This is not something I learned by society telling me this. This is something I learned from my childhood, right? So in a way, you could argue this is more rooted in my deeper part of my brain because I had an experience and I developed this survival strategy based on that experience. In therapy, then, essentially the first step is to understand yourself, to understand that how life has influenced you. So I started to understand that with the life I had as a kid, like all of these things I did and all of these like coping mechanisms, all of these safety mechanisms made a lot of sense back then. And they were the best I could do for myself as a kid. But at the end of the day, you need to put yourself out there and you need to make that decision. It's not like no matter of like talking about it is gonna make confronting your fears not scary. And that's just the way life is. Like life is about overcoming obstacles, adapting, adjusting, understanding, finding a solution, and then actually pulling through with that solution. Like life is in that way still this old survival game. You know, like back then, our most like biggest concern was where can we sleep? Are we gonna be safe while sleeping, or is like a tiger gonna eat us? And do we have enough food and water? You know, and like maybe probably also temperature. Nowadays it's different. But it's still in a way that we understand if there's a problem and we don't close our eyes in front of it. Because just because we don't want to see that food is gonna run out tomorrow, it's not gonna make food running out tomorrow go away. So in that moment where we actually know that like, okay, social media is ruining my life and like doom scrolling is ruining my life, but instead of doing something against it, I'm just going to complain about social media and keep on doing that. That's the moment where we just sit at the fire and are like, oh, tomorrow the food is running out. Sucks. man, you know, but like we're not doing anything, we're just sitting there. And in that way, we don't, there's like life is really about balance. And I hate to tell you this because it's really unsatisfying because balance is hard. And balance is really complicated. With balance, you can't like make an easy guide to it because it's a balance which is individual as well, right? So knowing that life is a balance and this will always be like a forever old task to actually get the balance right, and you're never going to be entirely successful probably. It's a thing where because life is a balance, there's like it's neither the solution to like baby yourself to the point that you hope somebody will save you, even though this is your life and you're really the person who needs to save themselves. Like if you don't, like how is somebody going to help you if you don't want help? You know, and like you setting yourself up for success, for example, by just going to therapy and stuff like this is also a good, like can work well, right? Like this is like there's no shame in that, but it's just making decisions which gonna make your situation better, like in one way or another. Like you don't need to fight yourself, but you need to make any type of decision which is gonna help you. Believing in, I don't know, the ghost of the forest is probably not gonna help you. And the second thing is, which would be the other extreme, is this whole thing of like, oh, just ignore your entire feelings and just pull through. Just work harder, just do more, just like never be sad. It's just a mind diff, you know? Like going that way, like that's also not true. Because sometimes we can't do things alone. Like you can, of course, sit there at the fire and be like, okay, but tomorrow, like I'm gonna find food and I'm gonna work twice as hard and I'm gonna like risk my life doing so. But if the best decision would actually be to like go over to the other tribe and ask them for help, you just made the wrong decision, you know. And you might not have set yourself up for success in that moment, but just to a losing battle. Like maybe 5 of the like other warriors, you know, have died and you're alone now. Like trying to like do the work of 5 people is not a smart choice. It's setting yourself up for failure. And I think this is really the sort of balance we need to strike. Like we need to take responsibility and accountability for our own life. But at the same time, we also need to see that our emotions and the information we get from reality, essentially, should be taken into account. And when our body is telling us our situation is shit and we hate our life, there might be some truth in that. And just trying to not hate your life might not fix the problem. And I think that's really like the dance we're trying to ace, right? So let me read through all your messages. Hi, Sophus, welcome. Okay, I think here. Toxic masculinity has been taught for 1,000 years minimum. However, toxic femininity has also been around for as long. It takes realizing that we're humans before men and false teachings. Yeah. I think men struggle more in brackets because we can't show weakness. We have to be strong, have to be capable of taking care of ourselves, both because the world wants us to, because we want. Yeah, I think we sort of like been asked, like I think I sort of answered that before, right? With saying how our perception is sort of like influencing that image as well, right? Hi Bruno, welcome. I also don't know what generation I'm at. I'm like, I'm 25. I don't know. Born in 2000. I don't know. I don't like I'm sort of like, the more I get into this whole like dilemma um with how society has shaped us, um I think that moment, um I don't know, like, I don't want to go into a direction where we're gonna be like, oh, men have it worse than women. Because it's not, like, this is not really helpful. It's essentially like this kindergarten thing of like, and I don't know if you ever had this, but it wasn't in the kindergarten actually, it was in school. In one of the like first grades, for whatever reason, we had like a huge discussion in school where like a person said they had seen, like, they were like really emotional, and we're like, oh my god, like on the way here I've seen like a cat being run over or something. um and then some people didn't want to hold space for that. And to sort of like bully that girl out of showing her vulnerability to this topic, it turned into a whole discussion about who has it worse. And like, I seen the cat of my neighbor I knew for 5 years die right in front of my eyes, and like all the guts spilled and stuff. It's like, this is not helpful. This is kindergarten bullshit. Like, we're not gonna go around here and be like, I have it worse. Like, this is not helpful. Also, we don't know shit. Like, we can't know, right? Like, there's no official, like, we're not gonna like go through a checklist and then be like, see, I have like 99 out of 100 points, you only have 50, like, I have it worse. Like, that's not how this works, and that's not even helpful. It's actually taking away from the actual discussion. Because the point is not that men have it worse than women or that women have it worse than men. The point is that we have it shitty and we need to change something. Like, some people suffer in our society and we know how we can make it better and we should make it better. So instead of turning into this like, oh, stop crying, like, I have it worse, be like, you know what? Cry louder because they still don't hear us. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think that's really, really important to like keep close. Because that's also the part how you actually like available for the other people around you, right? Like, if we argue like, oh, like men have it worse than women, so I can't talk about my childhood then, and like my experiences then like dismissed because like I essentially got like exactly these teachings, but like that's worse. Or like it's just, yeah, I don't know, it's so easy to fall into this because I feel like this is being brought up so often, this whole thing of like you versus me. So it's super, super easy to fall into this. And I sometimes fall into this as well. But it's just in that moment, we really miss the opportunity for connecting with another person who suffers and actually deciphering what the problem is and then doing something against that problem. I don't think we're gonna get to any sort of solution where we're like, you're bullshit, I have it worse. I think we're gonna get to a solution when we take the hand of the other person and we're like, I see you, I hear you, and this sucks ass, and we need to change something. I think that's gonna help us. And ask about your thoughts on the whole Marvel rival situation. I have no idea about that situation. Are you referring to the whole rivals tournament thing where someone got kicked? Um, born right when the world changed, I guess. I'm not saying men have it worse, but they get stigmatized way more. that's still sort of like saying the same thing, no? Hi, how do you get over someone who was your right person at the very wrong timing and whom you never dated but shared a lot of heartwarming moments with? I think Ali, it really depends on what is keeping you from getting over it, right? Like, what are you holding on to specifically? If you want to share that, I'm like, because I have some interesting interesting insights there. Yeah. I think it's really important, right, Cybercode, that we just see the victims. Because there are some women who are like entirely fine. There are some men who are entirely fine. There are some women who were victims of something, and there are some men who were victims of something, right? I think putting the victim label on an entire group of people is only helpful if there's like systematic issues we need to change, but not really to then compare. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, it feels like I get looked down at when I share my struggle with a real life friend, and when a female friend shares a struggle, everyone will rally around her. The same treatment is why I stopped sharing at all. I think so. See here, it's like I don't want to like take away from that experience, but that is a single experience. That is not a statement about the entire society and everybody in that society, right? And that's sort of the thing, right? Because when you say like men have it worse than women and men get like more stigmatized than women, you're less likely to get my compassion. Because I'm a woman and you dismiss my suffering with that, right? Yeah, like you dismiss the hardships I've gone through. But when you shared this, I see you. And that sucks, and I'm really sorry for you. I think there's definitely spaces where that wouldn't be the case. You know? So this is the thing I'm pointing out. Because in that moment, you could look for connection by sharing with me your struggle. And then you get connection from me. But if you make this into like, oh, like you have it better than me, then it's like taking away something from me in that moment, which it doesn't have to, right? Like not all friend groups are nice, right? And that sucks. And I feel like sometimes, or usually generally, the idea in therapy is, right, that the only person you can change are you. If this is a pattern you encounter, the only thing you can change is you, right? And even then, like even if it is a sort of like a systemic issue, like a societal problem, then what really helps is like opening up a space for men where they can like talk about their feelings. And like creating a solution, right? And being part of that solution. Ellie, I'm gonna come back to you in a second. Really sorry. The problem though is when someone shares their struggle, it is instantly a pain comparison between the two people. I think it doesn't have to be. I think it depends a lot of communication and the communication partner you have, right? I think when someone shares their pain, the other person should listen and go from there. Without either person dismissing the other, I've had a couple tell each other their pains. They constantly battle to see who has it worse. Yeah, I think it's a thing where like a lot of people like lack certain skills, right? So, and I feel like that could maybe be a thing that like women have like more emotional support skills than men. Or that it's like there's more representation on how to support somebody if they're for example if they're crying, as in like how to support somebody who's angry, right? But yeah, in the end, it's still like it doesn't need to be a pain comparison, and we can change that to not be like this as well. So I don't know, like some people like are not going to be able to offer us that, right? Like for some people, it's always going to stay a pain comparison, but we don't like. Thankfully, there's like a lot of people on this planet. Like we can find people where it works like better with, you know. Yeah. I think that's really cool, Tainted Wisdom. I think that's really cool. And I think that's honestly like a really good step. Like you put yourself out there and you saw what you got back. And I don't know, like I honestly like what I learned is that when I ask for like so because like sharing like and emotional sharing for me was also really hard, right? What I started to notice actually is that it's really hard because the way I share my emotions is in a way where people can't easily help me. Because I don't tell them what I need, but I tell them the problem. Like the way I communicated my struggles were essentially baiting to then like get a sort of a solution for the problem instead of emotional support. And another thing was that yeah, some people just don't really like they don't entirely know how to help. Like especially for a person who's like not like crying, but more like still sort of confident, but more like angry. Like they don't really know what to do. And it takes the right person to be like that. Like with my mom, for example, oh, it's perfect. Like I like call my mom and I'm like, oh my god, this happened. And like, can you believe that? And she's gonna be like, no way, like we're gonna like I'm gonna call the lawyers, like somebody needs to like kick their ass, like what the fuck? And like she's like matching my energy in that moment. But with Zach, for example, like, hey Zach, like this happened. And he's gonna be like, oh no, I'm so sorry for you. This is not the energy I'm having. It's so unhelpful in that moment. It's so unhelpful that it can make me mad actually. Because it's like, don't baby me. Like this is such injustice. And you're just like babying me, like that's not gonna help. You know, so it takes the right person. It takes a lot to get the emotional support you want. You know, so it's not easy, but it's not easy for a lot of people. So it's it's like it might be a problem with like certain friends that they can't give you that emotional support. It might be a thing where you need to properly talk to somebody and explain them what emotional support looks like for you, right? Like the other day I had like, oh my god, it was so embarrassing. Like before my last therapy session, right? I think I told you about this. Like before my last therapy session, I texted my therapist a message with like what I want to do in the last session. And I remembered like, yeah, true, he has like he has a number actually, so I can just text him on WhatsApp. And I looked up his name in my WhatsApp, and then I was like, yeah, his name. And I texted him the message. After I texted the message, I looked at the picture and I was like, huh? Why? Huh? And then I made the picture big, and I was like, I texted it to a person who was back then in my school, in the class of Zach. I have not had contact to this person really ever. They were only at some point in the same group I was in. I don't even know if I've ever seen that person, really. But I have no recollection of anything, sort of. I just texted them my deepest emotional message of like, hey, I'm getting like a bit scared because of like the last therapy session. Like I thought about what we're gonna do, and like I think this would be the plan, and like there's really a tough time. Like I noticed how I'm handling it better, but it's really exhausting and stuff like that. Like it was such a long message sent to that guy. Like a stranger, essentially. But not a stranger, which is worse. Like, they don't know me. They're not friends with me. But they know who I am, and they know my friends. This is so bad. It was so embarrassing. So I see that, and I think like, oh, no, I'm gonna delete it. And then I see it already has 2 check marks. So he's seen it already. I wanted to die in that moment. Oh my god. I saw it and I was like, no! No! Not really. Oh my lord. This is so embarrassing. So I deleted the message and I sent him a message like, oh my god, this is the most embarrassing missend ever. I'm so sorry. Please ignore that. Oh my god, this is embarrassing. I then sent the message to my actual therapist. And I sent a voice message to my friends. And they are a couple. They're the couple we play like D&D with. They're a little bit older. We know them from Zach's work, but we know them already for like 2 years or something. So I sent them like a voice message being like, oh my god, guys, I need emotional support. This is so embarrassing. I just made this message, blah, 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 to my therapist, and I sent it to a guy from school. Oh my god. This is so embarrassing. And I was like half laughing and also dying inside. So I sent them the message. And later then, I got a voice message back where she answered to me. And the sad part is, the answer was not helpful at all. I didn't even listen through the whole thing. The answer was essentially like super neutral. More like a lawyer type situation of like, I see that. I can see how that's embarrassing. Well, like in WhatsApp, you can delete messages. Like, click on the message and but maybe you can just send him that you like that you're like really sorry and and that like this won't happen again, and then he might be okay. And then it's probably gonna be fine. Like they can't really do anything bad. Like it's like if you tell them you're like, just tell them like you're really sorry, and then it's like probably like gonna be fine. And like maybe like you can, I guess you can ban them, but like I don't know. I think I would just say like I'm like really sorry, and like this was just like, this was not to you, and stuff like this. This was not matching my emotions at all. I'm not worried that this person is going to be a dick about it. Not worried at all. Who would be a dick about this? This is clearly so embarrassing for me. Who would be weird about this? So I wasn't worried at all that this person is going to be mean. I was just like, this is so embarrassing. Also, of course I didn't need help with deleting the message. I'm 25. I can delete messages in WhatsApp on my own. Thank you. But it was just, you know, like, yeah, she tried, but sadly, it wasn't the emotional support I needed in that moment. But yeah, like stuff like this can happen, you know? Like it's like some people like don't know what to do in those moments and like can't like don't understand the like what they can do for you, right? So she was like, well, I'm like not here, I'm not like close by, like I'm gonna like tell you how to fix the situation and like then good luck, I don't know, you know? So it's a thing where like it also depends on like really like this can happen to you with anybody that like you don't get the emotional support you wanted or you needed, right? Like it's a thing which isn't easy. And that's like entirely okay. And it takes a bit of work. So like then I sort of like answered her like, yeah, like guys, sorry, but this is like not actually the emotional support I was looking for. Like I was more like I wasn't really looking for advice. I'm also not really worried about that. I was just sort of like looking for yeah, like I guess like empathy of like how embarrassing that is. You know, so it's really like sometimes it is like that. That's why it's so important that we're able to be there for ourselves, right? Because we can't like sometimes it's gonna go wrong. But when I like told my therapist, for example, like he answered exactly the way my mom would. He was like laughing and just being like, no, you did not. And yeah, that's sort of like the response like I can like this is the vibe, you know, I need in that moment. And this is the vibe I get from my mom as well. Like this is also why, for example, my mom, even if we have like a lot of disagreements, we're still really close. Because we just match on that level like nobody else. Like she understands when I need help with something and she understands when I just need my emotions to be let out, you know. So yeah. Yeah. So it's yeah, like I don't know, like emotional support is hard and like getting good at emotional support is also hard. Like also from me for Zach, for example. Like he sometimes he like comes to me with like a problem he had. And I'm convinced he actually wants advice. Because he tells me the problem and no emotions. But just the problem. So I'm like, yeah, like obviously, like you don't tell me a solution, so you need a solution. So I'm gonna give you a solution, no worries. He actually doesn't like that. He doesn't want a solution at that moment. Like he's trying to tell me his emotions. He's not very good at that, but he's trying to. And that's a thing where like sometimes we just really like there's so many things between people, right? That like getting the emotional support you need can be really difficult. And it just needs some more help. And it needs some like then being like out of the moment, like okay, or like seeing the other person is not really like doesn't seem like super happy with what you said or like relieved or like really helped. And then you can say like sorry, like how can I help you? Like what can I do? Like do you want like a hug or do you want like advice or like what do you want from me, you know? And that's like really fair. This is why like giving emotional support, like seeing eye to eye with the other person is so much easier. Because the friend I just told you about, like when we're at the table, she can match my vibe. No problem. But because it was a voice message, there was like some information lacking, you know? That's fine. Happens. So essentially what I'm getting into here as well is I'm not trying to dismiss anybody of their perception of like, oh, but it's like so much harder for men. You know, like believe that. I don't give a fuck. The thing I want to point out is, first of all, be aware how that can take away from other people and actually like be in the way of you getting compassion. And the second thing is, with sort of the example I just made, is like in any case, the thing how you get the emotional support you want is going to be finding the right people, and then also putting in some work to explain them what sort of emotional support you need, and maybe put in some work on your own to sort of be able to say that better, or like show that better to the other person, to streamline that. Because I don't know, like if we wait for a solution by the government, we're gonna wait long. Like, do you know how long we knew that lead pipes cause lead poisoning, and that this is like really, really bad? And how long it took for us to actually like make them illegal? In Germany, that took 10 years. 10 years. From knowing water, like drinking water lead pipes cause lead poisoning, to then the government being like, hey guys, please don't use lead anymore. 10 years. And then there was a period of them all being like, oh, but well, we now have all of these lead pipes. So whenever like people are not looking, I'm just going to put them in, you know? So like the solution is not going to be for the system to wait to change and like put everything in place for us. Like the solution is that we're empowering ourselves to actually get the emotional support we need. That means finding the right people. That means learning, like getting better in communication to then be able to advocate for ourselves better in those moments. It's gonna be to, like, if something went wrong, then later have the energy and put the effort in to like come back to it and just be like, hey, I'm sorry I didn't like really answer on that message anymore, but that was really not, like that actually made me like low-key angry. Like it was not helping me at all. And like, I think what I was really actually looking for was just some compassion of being like, well, actually that really sucks, you know? And just like not being like, not feeling alone with the suffering. Or I don't know, like if we have a tough day and then like people are like, I don't like, sometimes we don't really want to talk about it, but we just really want to focus on something else, right? Because we know we're like in that downward spiral and there's like no way in hell like thinking about it's gonna help right now. And we just need to get out of that spiral. And then we like tell a friend like, oh, I have a really bad day, like can I come over, and we just like do something, and then they really want to talk to you. And I like the entire time like, oh yeah, like, you know, like tell me, you can tell me now. Or like, is it your parents again? And they like absolutely get into it. And it's okay to then just say like, hey, I appreciate you trying to be there for me, but what I actually need right now is let's just do something to get my mind out of this. Like, I just need to get grounded again. I just need to like be out of that, get a break, and then come back to it later. And like, I'm gonna do the entire rest, you know, but the best thing you can do for me right now is make stupid ass jokes and, you know, like do something fun with me. Like that's sort of the thing I'm looking for. Like there's, yeah. Like this is what we can do for ourselves. So, and this is also why like therapy is sometimes so interesting, because even though like the narrative of like a person might change and be different to like the narrative of other people, and there's definitely like awareness and like sort of like this like psychoeducation and stuff like this helps, but in a funny way there is like certain things which just like always work, because no matter why that happens, the solution is the same. I just remembered how was the butter chicken amazing. Super. So, I'm gonna like read your messages, and then I'm gonna go into Ellie's messages, and then you get the whatever you need. I can just be present and listen, but I don't know how I should comfort. Yeah. I mean, it's like learning how to be like good emotional support is definitely like for some people more challenging than for others. It also really depends on what you learn from home, right? So like I only know from home that either like give a solution or just be like, oh no, and then like really get into these feelings with the other person. And like other stuff like this, I also had to learn. So I really, in that way, I really like I don't know like really why, but I really like K-dramas. Because I feel like they show a lot of ways how to like give emotional support to a person, because there's like different types of so many different types of characters. And because the characters are usually so exaggerated, it's like really easy to follow. I only share with my therapist, but I'm just unavailable as my friends when they come to me, but then I'm the bad guy. Why should I be emotionally available to my friends when they do not take me serious? Oh, I don't. I think this is actually harmful. Because I feel like there's a lot of things people do without like not with bad intent, right? So for example, Chu just say like he's like they're like present and listening but don't really know how to comfort. Like that would, for example, could be a friend who looks like they don't take your emotions serious. But like they're trying their best, you know. It's just like that's not really something they're like really good at. But is it then okay to sort of like punish them with being unavailable to them? Also, like, is it something we want to do? Like, do we want to punish the people around us with the treatment like they give us to give them? Like, I feel like if you don't like your friends because you think they don't take you seriously, like on purpose, to the point that you think it's okay to essentially be like be emotionally unavailable to them and not even try to help them when they come to you. Like, if you think that's fair, I don't think you're friends. I think you hate your friends and you should dump them. And that's probably better for both, honestly. Like, I feel like you shouldn't have people around you resent. I think that's, I don't know, like this can happen so easily in a relationship as well. Where like we resent our partner for something where we put like harmful intent on them. And it's like, you know, like sometimes we can't change that, but we shouldn't be together with a person we resent. Like if we think they're bad, like it doesn't really matter if they're bad or not, but if we think that, we're gonna treat them like they are. So essentially, like for us, the reality is already decided in that moment, right? And essentially, we're just making the decision to torture ourselves because we keep a bad person around, instead of like actually putting in the consequences and like cutting them off and like being free of them. You know, at the same time, we might be punishing somebody who doesn't even deserve punishing because they never intended to do such a thing. But we're not bringing it up and we're not giving any possibility for the problem to be resolved because we're essentially judging them and punishing them without them ever knowing. And I think this is something which is really, really harmful. So I feel like, honestly, the best advice I can give you is it doesn't matter if it makes you look like an asshole. Like, even if it's like your girlfriend is loved by everybody, including your parents. If you resent that person, don't have contact with them anymore. Like, don't keep a person around you don't like just because the people around, because you fear the judgment of others for you not liking them. Don't keep them around if you don't like them. And it's like, I will like sign anything that is for both people's good in that moment. Because this is essentially how a toxic relationship starts. Between friends, between partners, it doesn't matter. But when people just judge others and punish them on their own without ever giving another solution to this, it's toxic. And you can argue all day whether the others are first or you went first, but it doesn't matter because this is toxic behavior, no matter what came first. Stretching makes sense. And then I don't know, it's also kind of sad, right? Like you're just keeping a person around you don't like. And you're like, every time they come to you again, and every time you feel like, oh, I would need to talk to somebody. And then you technically like have a friend, but you can't talk to them. Or like they can't come to you with something. And like, then you like keep your mouth shut and like don't help them and are emotionally unavailable. You engage every time with this weird, twisted, toxic way of friendship. And that's just, I don't know, like everybody has a right to good friends. And, or like, no, I'm not going to say a right to good friends. That's wrong. But everybody, I think, deserves good friends. And I don't think we should settle for friends we don't like. I think we should like dump that friendship and find people we actually like. Because I don't think anybody deserves to be treated like a friend who is hated. But then still kept around. Because that can be really complicated. Like, I don't know, like with my mom for a long time, I thought, and this is not really my mom's fault because my dad manipulated me. But for a long time, I felt like my mom doesn't like me and doesn't want me as her kid. And that was so hurtful every time. So I think, I don't know, I think the worst thing really is not to be dumped, but to notice and have that doubt the entire time, that feeling in your chest that you're not wanted, but they keep you around. And you're constantly doubting whether that's the thing you should believe now, and that's the, like, this is proof they don't like me, and this is like, now I can dump them. And then there's like something like, okay, and then you're like, oh, maybe it was just something else. Because I feel like most people actually notice if there's resentment and hidden resentment. And it doesn't feel safe. But we're just, a lot of the time, we're like just too insecure to then actually like dump the other person. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of different things people want from emotional support. I think that most people prefer this than being given solutions. I think it really depends, actually. But I think I guess the most part, like the most situations in life, are really about just being there for the other person and not giving solutions. Because like usually it's just like our own life and we just need to figure it out, like what we want to do and what we don't want to do, right? So I think like the more common situation is just that we want like support or emotional support, but not like that we can like figure it out on our own, but we're like emotionally impacted from it.